Hello everybody, this is Charles, and today I'm not here to do a review on the highly sought after VF-31A Kairos, but I'm just going to talk about the whole fiasco that's going on with the VF-31A Kairos. So I'm going to split this discussion, talking about Bandai, talking about the online Japanese shops, talking about Yahoo Japan, talking about the Hong Kong shops, and I'll wrap up by talking about the currently most notorious Japanese online shop, which is Nippon Yasan. Alright, so first off, let's talk about how I got this piece. I personally ordered from Nippon Yasan 2 pieces and I didn't receive anything. The piece you see right now here is what I bought from a local store, okay, a local toy shop. I bought it at just last week at 550 Singapore dollars, which is about 418 US dollars. And in case y'all think that there's more than one piece, no, this is just the empty brown box. Okay, this is just the empty brown box. I just have it as the backdrop. So I only one piece of this, and I'm probably not going to open up this piece until I get a second piece, and I hope my order from Nippon Yasan actually comes through, though at this point in time it seems pretty much unlikely. So first off, why the sudden surge in the price and demand and the shortage of the VF-31A? Honestly, we don't know. All we know that for sure, based on the 50 plus pages of discussion on the Macross World forums, where I am pretty sure a huge number of members bought their 31A from Nippon Yasan, and majority of them have not received their Kairos. So yeah, so that's why a lot of people, including myself, we are bitching about it. We are so frustrated in talking about it in the forums. So first off, the nature of Bandai Tamashii web exclusives. The Kairos is actually a regular release, and each account in Japan is allowed to buy 6 pieces. So the thing about the TWEs in Japan, the Tamashii web exclusive in Japan, is that you can only purchase directly from Bandai Japan if you have a Japanese address, and you probably need to have like a national ID number and something as such in order to qualify to buy, or at least you need to have a residential address, an address in Japan to be able to buy. And I have a contact, a husband and wife contact in Japan. I used to ask them to help me buy Tamashii web exclusives, and for those which has one limit to one account per item, I usually ask both of them to help me get one each so I can get 2 pieces. And what I can be sure is that the accounts in Japan, they do not restrict you based on your address. You can have multiple accounts with your family members living in the same place. So for example, a family of 5 people, everybody can open a Tamashii account and send and purchase the maximum amount of item within a particular pre-order and have everything sent to the same address, and Bandai has no issue with that. Okay, so that's one thing is clear. So what we guess is that for most Japanese online shops, they probably order direct from Bandai via the Tamashii web as well, and they probably send everything to their office address. That's what I think. This is just pending verification, or they could send it to the home address of their staff member and have their staff member bring it to the warehouse for the dispatch to the international customers. This is another possibility. And back to the VF-31A. Okay, this is a regular release. Every account is limited to 6 pieces. The release date is 15th of March, and prior to that, during the pre-order period, the pre-order didn't close early. Okay, usually when Bandai puts on an item, if it's really hot, okay, the item will sold out within a couple of hours or even a couple of days, and that is when Bandai will decide and announce if they want to do a second round of pre-order for the item. And usually when they do a second round pre-order for the same item, they will actually have the release date about 1 month later, and sometimes they even go up to 3 pre-orders. Then, as what we see in some Gundam Metal Build and Gundam Metal Composite items, whereby they have more than 2 to 3 pre-orders, and they are staggered delivery by month, so they deliver in March, April, and May. So what I know for sure that within the website of Bandai there is a counter. So for example, Bandai says, oh, I'm able to make 2,000 pieces of Kairos. So there's a counter in the background. So whenever a PO is made, let's say if I make an order for 5 pieces, once it goes through, the counter will be 2,000 minus 5, which is left 1,995. So this is just a assumption numbers, okay? But I'm very sure they have a counter in the background. So once the counter goes down to 0, the website will close. It will say not available. But for the case of the Kairos, the PO didn't close. Okay, the PO remained open until the last day. So this is why we are so very sure that Bandai actually forecasted enough, and then they didn't have to open the second round of PO due to popular demand or due to the Kairos being sold out early before the PO closed. And there was also no announcement in the website of any delay for the delivery of the Kairos, nor was there any announcement of any quality checks or production issues with the Kairos. So this way can be sure that the Kairos production went smoothly, and the official release date of 15 March stands. And Tamashii Web exclusive items are made to order. So Bandai, let's say for example, they can make 2,000 pieces, and let's say they manage to fill out 1,500 pieces. So they will commit to make this 1,500 pieces, plus they will probably buffer maybe say about 1 to 3% of spares in case there is some fault or defect that the customers within Japan write into Japan for them to replace certain parts or replace the entire toy. So Bandai does buffer a little bit. And so eventually, we know for sure Bandai fulfilled all POs. That's what I'm pretty sure. So about all the discussion, about all the theories about Bandai not fulfilling all their POs, Bandai didn't produce enough to give to all the distributor, they cut everybody's stock. Personally, I think that is bullshit, okay? Because Bandai, okay, Tamashii Web exclusives are made to order, and whether you are a resident of Japan or whether you are a distributor, you can only purchase Tamashii Web exclusives through the Tamashii website. Bandai doesn't sell Tamashii Web exclusives outside of the website in Japan. Outside of Japan, however, I know in Singapore and Hong Kong, Bandai sometimes sells whatever excess they have in the retail stores, or they'll just try to sell it to the toy shops to get them to take the stock. But usually these are items whereby they actually overproduced. Why they overproduce is because they actually produce a certain quantity for replacements and for defect replacements, but at the day's end when the product it has been launched, let's say for example they've been launched about 2 to 3 months, Bandai is really sure that there is no feedback of any defect, and that is where they will use this spare stock and distribute it to Hong Kong. I'm not sure whether they do it in Taiwan and China as well, but I know in Singapore and Hong Kong they do it. So they actually sell Tamashii Web exclusives in retail after some months of the official release. Okay, but these are just a very small quantity. These are not a lot. These are just a very small quantity. So in Japan, they don't do that. Okay, in Japan, you can only get it by buying from their website direct, period. Okay, there's no second way about it. So right now, let's talk about the online Japanese online web shop. So we know a few popular ones that does pre-orders for Tamashii Web exclusives, namely CD Japan, Big in Japan, My Combini, Lupaza is in Hong Kong, and then there's Ning Games, and there's also our star of today's discussion, Nippon Yasan. So based on the discussions that I've seen going on in the Macross World forums, I know that CD Japan started dispatching their Kairos from 16th of March onwards, and CD Japan pretty much fulfilled all the POs that they took. I do not recall reading of anyone's pre-order from CD Japan being refunded, so CD Japan delivered. The same thing for big in Japan. It seems they started dispatching the Kairos from about 16 or 17 of March onwards, and they fulfilled all their pre-orders. I have not read of any refunds so far. So for City Japan and Big in Japan, if any of you, my viewers, they are the customers, you bought the Kairos and you got a refund from them for not fulfilling the PO, you can actually comment this. Write a comment in my video. My company actually delayed the delivery of the Kairos to the 31st of March. Why they do that, I'm not sure. Maybe because they sent the items to their staff's residence, and the staff had to bring over the warehouse for dispatch. Maybe. I'm not familiar with my company, so I can't really comment much. But what I know for sure is that my company actually refunded some of the POs that were placed closer to the release date, so they actually couldn't commit. They actually couldn't deliver, or rather fulfill the pre-orders that they took in the later part of it, which is nearing the launch date. Two theories I have. Okay, I'm not, just an assumption. I feel that my company probably had enough to sell, but because nearing the date, they saw the price of the Kairos is going up. Okay, it was going up really rapidly. In fact, on the 17th of March onwards, based on records in Yahoo Japan, the price of the Kairos was already 31,000 yen. And 31,000 yen basically was 8,000 yen above the 23,000 yen price. So the price had already jacked up by over 30%. I wouldn't be surprised that my company decided to keep whatever spare they have and sell it through a different channel. It could be eBay, it could be Yahoo Japan. They could have done that, but it's just an assumption, so I'm not flaming them, but it's just a possibility. Lufthansa in Hong Kong, they shipped from around 20th of March onwards. I know why, because they probably received their stock from their Japanese contacts or Japanese accounts. And as far as I know from my from my Hong Kong contacts, all the shops in Hong Kong had received their stocks of the 31A. So and all of them actually ordered through their proxies or their contacts in Japan. That being said, we can be very sure that all customers in Japan who ordered the Kairos had their pre-orders fulfilled. Okay, this is how the shops in Hong Kong managed to get all their stock. Okay, so right now I'm going to talk about Yahoo Japan, the trend. So as I mentioned earlier, from the 17th of March onwards, the price was really starting to rocket. It started from 17th of March onwards, it was closing at 31,000 yen. That was about $300. And up to now, which is the 12th of April, the latest close price was 48,000 yen. That is more than double the price of the original price of the Kairos, which is 23,000 yen. So the price has more than doubled right now. But of course, I guess this is just temporary. The price will probably stabilize and go down to the range of about 37 to 38,000 yen, which is about 350 or 360 US dollars equivalent. That's before commission if you use Bandai and before shipping to the US. So I think all in with commission and shipping to the US, it probably costs close to about 400 USD on average if you want to get one right now. Okay, so another interesting thing I noticed in Yahoo Japan is that there aren't a lot of closed auctions or sold Kairos, which is interesting. So from the 17th of March onwards to now, there's about only 60 odd pieces of Kairos sold. And I'm pretty sure that the 60 odd pieces went to international buyers. I'm pretty sure. At that sort of price, 31,000 to 48,000 yen, I'm very sure that no Japanese in the right state of mind will actually buy it. In fact, most Japanese and Macross collectors who wanted the Kairos would have bought theirs long ago, way before the PO closed. So the people who are buying it at 31 to 48,000 has to be international buyers. I'm very sure. In fact, one of the shops in Singapore told me that he bought all the Kairos at 35,000 yen. Yeah, for a period of time, for a couple of days, he paid 35,000 for all the Kairos. So I think he probably had easily maybe 6 to 10 pieces at least from Yahoo Japan at 35,000 yen, maybe. So right now, oh yeah, back to the number of pieces. So 60 plus pieces sold in Japan. It's not a lot. It does give some question as to why there's only such a number of pieces sold. Is there really a shortage, or maybe because those who ordered the Kairos actually ordered enough for themselves, enough for reselling, so there wasn't a lot put on the auctions for sale. So I wouldn't know for sure on that. Only the Japanese would know better. And now on to the main discussion of this video, Nippon Yasan. Alright, so Nippon Yasan, the original launch date is 15th of March, but Nippon Yasan wrote on their website that the expected available date is 24th of March. So that is 9 days after the official date of release. Why 9 days? I scratched my head. I'm not sure why. Maybe not apart from ordering. Maybe the staff ordered on behalf of the company. Maybe instead of sending to the warehouse, they were sending it to the residence of their staff members, and probably they felt that they need about 1 week's time to move the stock of the Kairos from the staff's place to the warehouse before they can start doing stock check and dispatch to the customers. Maybe, I'm not sure. But from my experience with Nippon Yasan, it really depends. I mean, sometimes they get the stocks really fast. Sometimes they get the stocks really fast. They get the stocks like 1 or 2 days after the official release date from Bandai for the Tamashii Web exclusive items, and they usually dispatch it within 3 or 4 days after receiving the stock. There are instances whereby I bought Tamashii Web exclusives from Nippon Yasan. The release date, for example, was 10th of January, but they put their date as 17th of January. And I had no issues of getting my Tamashii Web exclusive from Nippon Yasan. They still delivered to me. But it's interesting that for this time around, the Kairos, had everyone, in fact, a lot of people were having a hard time with Nippon Yasan, let's put it this way. A lot of people are not getting their Kairos, and it's not helping for the fact that the price is really, really high now. I think the prices on eBay are at least $500 to $800 for a piece. That is ridiculous. That's really insane, So for myself, I bought this at $418 US from a local shop. I think I got it cheap. In fact, it almost cost the 2 pieces that I spent on Nippon Yasan. But if you don't get it, you don't get it. So I'm actually happy to have this piece with me right now. Anyway, back to the discussion. So because Nippon Yasan, so the interesting thing is that Nippon Yasan says it will be available on 24th of March. So there was a lot of discussion on the Macross World Forum. There are people who really can't wait to get their hands on it. There are people who say, I can wait for Nippon Yasan. They always deliver. I have no issues waiting for them. 24th of March is fine. So the same people who say they're fine, as the days goes by from 24th of March onwards to 31st of March, no delivery, and then people say, it's fine. Nippon Yasan usually sometimes takes up to a week or more than that to deliver my items. I'm pretty cool. I'm cool. I still trust them that they'll deliver. Then comes April 1st, April Fool's Day, and then up to now, April 12th. A lot of people are losing their patience. A lot of people are losing their faith in Nippon Yasan. Okay, that's the truth. Okay, I myself, I'm a pretty impatient person. Okay, when you say 24th of March, I expect you to actually send my item out by the 27th latest. Give you 3 business days to deliver, to send out what you're supposed to send out. Especially when you took my money like 6 months ago. The money was paid in October. And now we are talking about March, so it's 6 months, more than 6 months since the money is paid and nothing is delivered. So a lot of people have been writing emails, talking to the staff in Nippon Yasan. So Nippon Yasan, initially their reply was, "We have not received all our stocks yet. Your order will be sent out as soon as possible." Okay, this was the initial response. And a few days later, a week later, the response changed to, "We do not have an expected delivery date for your order. We will send your order out as soon as possible." Okay, so now it's changed now. They say we have not received all our stock. Okay, your order will be sent out as soon as possible. And then now they changed to we do not have an expected date of delivery for your order. So right now they're not sure when they can send yours out. Okay, so that's getting more and more worrying. And right now, okay, for the past 2 days, whenever people ask about the delivery date of the Kairos, Nippon Yasan will say that we will refund your order in the form of store credit. Okay, and in the past when anyone tell Nippon Yasan that, oh no, I'm gonna ask for a PayPal refund, Nippon Yasan will just try to negotiate with you, saying that, oh, they will try to deliver things as soon as possible, blah 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 blah. But right now for the Kairos, anyone who emails to them and say I want a refund, they will refund you immediately. They will refund you immediately. So why do they do that? I have no idea what's going on in Nippon Yasan. The pre-order window was open for a long time. It was apparently, according to those in the Macross World forums, that the pre-order window for Nippon Yasan for the Kairos was still open despite the fact that it was closed in Tamashi Web, which is not surprising because Nippon Yasan usually leaves the pre-order window open for a short period of time after it closes officially in Bandai's Tamashi Web. And I know why, because they definitely order a lot more than the POs they've taken, and they know that for Tamashi Web exclusives, in the long term, in the long run, usually the prices will go up. Usually, okay, not everything goes up, but usually the price will go up. And for Macross, it's no brainer. The price will definitely go up. Okay. So since Nippon Yasan kept the pre-order window open for a while after the Bandai closes its pre-order, we can assume that Nippon Yasan has ordered more than enough stock for them to cover all their pre-orders and probably have a handful of stock for them to sell at the inflated prices after the item is released. But for this time round, the whole thing totally went south. Nippon Yasan wasn't able to fulfill all their pre-orders so far. What we know that so far, the orders made on the 6th, on the 7th, and on the 10th of October, okay, were delivered. But those were only single piece orders. Apparently, according to those on Macross World, those who ordered more than one piece on the 6th of October did not get their Kairos delivered. Okay. And one of the members who ordered from Nippon Yasan said that he only received the Kairos without the Tamashi box, which is weird, okay, because it doesn't make sense for them to take this out of this box to dispatch the item. So it comes to theory that could Nippon Yasan be probably trying to buy stock from the secondary market in order to fulfill the pre-orders? I'm not sure. I had instances whereby I bought a regular release Macross, and then on the release date it was not available, and Nippon Yasan was telling me that all their stocks are not in, and it took them about 1 week later before they sent out my item, which made me suspect they probably went around the shops in Japan or Yahoo Auctions to buy stocks to fulfill their pre-order. But it doesn't make business sense either, because they have to pay inflated prices in order to fulfill the pre-orders. So it means that they're actually making a loss. And from the way Nippon Yasan conducts its business, selling things at much higher price, inflated prices, market rate prices for highly in-demand items, I personally tend not to think that they would buy. Or rather, they would make a loss just to uphold their principle. But I just don't feel that they would do that. So the case with the Kairos is really, really weird. A lot of people on Macross World forums are affected. I'm very sure. Let's say they only deliver. Okay, for the past 2 weeks, a few members in the Macross World say they receive dispatch notices from Nippon Yasan. So on average, you probably get about 3 persons who receive their delivery notice from Nippon Yasan. So since the 24th of March. Right now, I think they only started receiving the notices from Nippon Yasan from about 27th of March onwards. So 27th of March till now, about 2 weeks. Okay, let's take it about 14 days. 14 days. About 3 people per day on Macross World Forum say they received their dispatch notice. So 3 times 14, about 42. 42, and then give and take, those on Macross World, and those who never come out and declare that they received their PO. Maybe Nippon Yasan has dispatched probably 150, 200 pieces since then, and I believe they probably have a backlog of maybe 500-600 pieces. No, maybe not 500. Maybe they probably have a backlog of 400 or 500 pieces. I probably think they have a backlog of 300 to 400 pieces, or maybe just less than that. But the whole thing is just weird, it just doesn't make sense why for a made to order item that Nippon Yasan is not having the stock and they are unable to deliver it. There are discussions, like I said, that there is some QC errors, some defects, that Bandai didn't announce, and Nippon Yasan was affected, and Bandai was trying to fix the errors before they send the Kairos over to Nippon Yasan. I don't know. Maybe that's true, maybe that's not. But I know that for sure as the days go by, the hope of getting a 31A pre-order fulfilled from Nippon Yasan is getting glimmer. I don't know. Maybe I'll hold out more to the end of the April. I guess maybe I'll hold it out to the end of April and see if Nippon Yasan delivers my 31A. In the worst to worst situation, will I accept their offer to give me store credits? I am fine because I have a few pre-orders from them that is unpaid. So I do not mind having store credits to use it to offset whatever the pre-orders that I have. Even though I'd probably be left with some excess. Can you imagine that I bought 2 Kairos, which cost me after shipping about 53,000 yen, and my existing POs probably come up to about 35,000 yen, which means I have about 18,000 yen left of store credit if I choose to go for store credits. But well, we shall see. So anyway, just to wrap it up, I hope that everyone who has ordered their Kairos from Nippon Yasan will get theirs soon. I hope I'll get mine soon. Today's Friday. Before the end of Friday, we're in a week. I just hope that the stars are all aligned in my favor and the stars will shine upon me, and I'll receive a delivery notice from Nippon Yasan that my Kairos is on the way. So best of luck everyone, to all of you who is waiting for your VF-31A Kairos from Nippon Yasan. Here's Charles signing off.